With the story of My Hero Academia now officially over, at least on the manga side, with the last chapter being released just over last week, our Friday mornings are going to be a little bit less eventful. And though the ending may not be perfect to some fans, I find it to be satisfying as it can be. At the very least, it didn't rush its ending like how Bleach did. Yet, despite its conclusion, there are so many questions that Horikoshi left behind, one of which includes Deku's new armored hero suit that he got at the end of chapter 430. This is Animaniacal 9000, a channel where we talk about content related to anime, manga, and other types of media. And in this video, I'm going to be going over possible functionalities within Deku's armored hero suit that could make him a great hero again. Let's get started. At the start of chapter 430, we were introduced with an 8-year time skip where we see how much the students of Class 1A have grown, becoming full-fledged heroes and famous in their own right, all except for the series MC, who revealed that after using up the last embers of One For All at an unknown time, he quit being a hero and instead became a teacher at UA High. Admittedly, this is one part of the ending that I couldn't accept. Like some fans, I really hope that One For All returned to Midoriya. He not only deserved the power, but he has also proven to be more of a hero than anyone else throughout the series. So the fact that it didn't happen, and what's worse, felt like he got left behind, leaves a sour taste in our mouths. If anything else, at least he's not working at McDonald's like that fan art, which is even more disrespectful. Luckily, there is a saving grace. As the chapter comes to a close, All Might suddenly swoops in, seemingly breaking the fourth wall by literally crushing the title end card with his bare hands, saving Midoriya from a bittersweet ending. All Might would then give Midoriya a new support kit item as a gift, which turns out to be Midoriya's new hero suit, now in Iron Man-like armor, created through the efforts made by his mentors and friends. Then, upon putting it on, Midoriya returned to heroism, becoming the hero who can do anything again, Deku. However, just how powerful is this suit that Deku can continue performing as a hero? Well, considering how the armored suit literally came out at the end of the series, we really don't know what its capabilities are. That being said, we may be able to take a few guesses based on the hints and past events that we've seen thus far. We know for the fact that Deku's armored hero suit was developed based on the support gear item that All Might used against All For One during their final confrontation. The support gear, dubbed Armored All Might, was powerful enough to not only allow All Might to stand up against All For One, who reverted back to his stronger, younger Prime form, but was also able to deal some major damage thanks to utilizing enhancements named after the students of Class 1A's quirks. And despite being destroyed at the end and was only meant to buy time, it still managed to get the job done against one of the series' final villains. Though initially believing that relying on support gear items is not enough and can eventually be seen as a liability, All Might himself later stated how much technology has evolved alongside quirks. And after doing 8 years of research with the data they were obtained from that fight, new possibility emerges. This may imply that the armored suit Deku currently wears is not only powerful enough that he can keep up and fight alongside his friends, but also much stronger than its predecessor, meaning that Deku could also potentially perform a lot better as a hero than he ever did when he first started. This is kind of similar to how Tony Stark would repeatedly create multiple armors, each being stronger than the last one, and fight on par with the Avengers. Additionally, new armor means new enhancements that have yet to be revealed. For example, if Deku wants to increase his strike power, he could have either his fists or feet attach themselves with another device that can help him accelerate his attacks for heavier impact, much like how Armored All Might, when he was about to perform a super move called Shot Style, he used it with conjunction with Sugar Man, which is an enhancement that helped him accelerate his kicks. Or, just to add a little bit of humor with the attack, he could have them enlarged, similar to how they did it in another superhero themed anime show, Tiger and Bunny. And since Horikoshi doesn't hide the fact that he is a Marvel fan and loves to incorporate what he likes into his work, especially Spider-Man related, the armor could have robotic arms or legs for better agility and mobility, like the Iron Spider suit. Of course, for versatility, whether or not if Deku's armor suit also has enhancements based on Class 1A quirks to an extent, it would be great if it also has enhancements based on quirks from previous One For All users, considering how those are the ones that Deku is more familiar with. We've already seen how the Armored All Might was able to use an enhancement called Black Whip when trying to restrain All For One, so it would make sense that this could also be included into Deku's armored suit, along with other possible enhancements based off from One For All users. For Black Whip, instead of black cables, it could be more liquid based. And just to fit in with the theme of how Deku is more like the Spider-Man of the My Hero verse, Black Whip could easily act as web shooters with substance that makes it look like from the Black Symbiote. Depending on how strong the substance elasticity is, it can allow Deku to swing and grapple from buildings, bind and trap people, and capture objects more easily. For float, Deku could have hover boots that allow him to suspend in the air, and if he wants to achieve flight, or just increase mobility, he could have jetpack attached to his back. The enhancement for smoke screen isn't really special. Deku could literally just produce smoke from either side of the armored suit when trying to hide from or trick his opponents. For danger sense, I can see some sort of sensory device with a small antenna attached beside Deku's own ears, or probably from the top of those rabbit-themed ears of his mask, if it's still included with the suit. Much like the actual Quark, Deku's brain should perceive anything incoming as dangerous, forcing him to dodge. For Fa-Chin, the suit itself will be able to absorb the energy produced from any movement that Deku has made, and as an added bonus, the suit could have shock absorption features that will allow him to not only reduce certain impacts, but also absorb and store the energy behind them. Once the energy has been stored up, the suit would start glowing intense red, a sign that it's at its max, and those very same energy would then need to be released in order for Deku to be able to unleash explosive power and speed. Gear shift might be a bit more difficult to imagine as part of the suit's enhancements, though I can probably see that in order to gain more speed, the armor's boot could be designed with some sort of magnetic field to reduce friction below Deku's feet. And just to increase the speed even further, the armor could come with miniature rocket that can act as jet propulsion, being able to detach or attach to any part of Deku's body. And his armor could slightly shapeshift in order to reduce air pressure. Either way, it should be something that can allow Deku to increase his or other people's speed. However, one possible enhancement that could benefit Deku is the possibility that the armored suit might restore one for all in Deku's body, at least while he's wearing it. Right when the series has ended, one fan made a theory at how Deku's armored suit may have a function that is similar to the quirk amplification device from the first My Hero movie, Two Heroes. For context, this amplifier was made by All Might's old friend from America, David Shield, and it was initially created to restore his friend's power. But the device was instead used by the movie's main villain, and based on how he demonstrated with the device, his quirk became so powerful it required the combined force of Deku and All Might, who still had embers of One for All, in order to defeat him and destroy the device. I actually like this theory, and when you think about it, it's not entirely implausible, especially if there has to be a reason why it took 8 years for the armor to be developed specifically for Deku. Furthermore, during some of the events of the final war, it has been proven that the movies are canon. So what's to say that this friend from overseas who helped create Deku's armored suit, and mentioned by All Might by the end of chapter 430, is either David or his daughter, Melissa Shield? Though Melissa is the most likely case since her father is probably still in prison or going through some sort of probation after the incident from the first film. After all, she was the one who created the armored All Might, and when creating the armored for Deku, she not only used the data from the fight between All Might and All for One, but also likely managed to get some bit of research data of the quirk amplification device and refined it, with likely some bit of assistance from her father. And even though the embers of One for All in Deku's body is no longer there, the residual substance of One for All might still exist within him, evidenced by how All Might still manages to transform into his muscular form, despite no longer having One for All himself. This is nothing but speculation at this point, but if any of what I said came true, that would make Deku a lot more powerful than I initially thought. And considering how this armored suit can already act as some sort of reinforcement device, such as mid-gauntlet and or full gauntlet, if One for All is restored, Deku could use his power more safely without feeling the usual backlash. However, the armored suit isn't likely without its fair share of weakness and or limitation. One obvious case is the possible time limit of how long the suit can run. We should assume an armor this powerful must require a lot of power in order to keep it operational. So, not only Deku has to be fully aware that he needs to keep it charged up, but if he were to run out of power at a certain point, it could leave him immobile. Or if Deku were to overwork the suit and cause it to overheat, the armored suit may have to forcefully go through some sort of cooldown phase before being used again. All of these factors are very dangerous for Deku, especially if he were in the middle of a fight. A villain could take advantage of it and strike him down. Another possible weakness that Deku needs to consider is the fact that the armored suit can be stolen at any time. So unless the suit can only be accessed and worn by Deku himself, similar to how the Iron Man suit can only be accessed and worn by Tony Stark, a villain could possibly steal it and wear it to cause havoc. What's more, depending on how strong the suit really is, a powerful enough impact could damage it to make it inoperable. Not to mention how the armored suit is only as good as the one who is wearing it. And considering how Deku has been working as a teacher in front of a desk for 8 years, his body might be a bit rusty, though we don't know for certain if he has been doing any physical activities behind the scenes. It's clear he might need to retrain himself in order for his body to adjust to the new suit. Though these are definitely obstacles that Deku will face, such technical issues with the armor can be overcome and countered by Hatsume and the help of Class 1A. Plus, Deku has proven to be a very strong-willed and smart hero, being able to make use the best of his abilities when overwhelming and outsmarting powerful villains. Well, regardless of whatever strength and flaws the armored suit may have, I'm just glad it gave Deku another chance to become a hero. For the longest time, Deku has either been overlooked, underestimated, or just generally flown under most people's radar, and even after literally saving the world, you would think he gained more recognition, but no, that was not the case here. And even though he does have a few admirers, he definitely deserved more. If Horikoshi does make a sequel series for My Hero Academia, I will read it in order to see just how much further Deku can grow as a hero with the armored suit, even if he's no longer the main character. Alright, that's about it within this video. If you have any other thoughts about Deku's armored suit, just leave a comment down below, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.